So next up, I think we're going to pop over to George and for his reactions on the recent Shenmue 3 trailer.
Well, not necessarily my reactions, more that I just kind of wanted to bring it up because it was kind of, prevalent throughout the week. A lot of people were talking about it. I wanted to get everybody's feelings here about it. What did you guys think? Was it hideous? Did you love it?
Well, my opinions on it is it shows how far they've still got to go. Because really the only problem with it is that there was no facial animation.
Right, yeah, the stone faces.
But to me, all that says is they haven't done that yet. All the other animation looked fine. They were all stony-faced mannequins, but generally the animation looked fine. It's just they haven't put the facial animation in yet. And I'm going to, and that's all I really took from it. It's not that it looks terrible. They just haven't done that yet. There's still a way to go. It shows a game in development, so that's all. That's really my whole opinion. It's a game that's in development. They haven't done that yet. So hopefully it gets better and doesn't have a Mass Effect situation when it actually comes out.
But I think the developer came out and said actually that was exactly how they wanted the game to be represented, which I thought was kind of crazy, because it's 2017. I mean, I guess it did look like Shenmue. That's good, but did we want something more? Maybe something a little bit more awesome looking.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if the developer, I must admit, I missed that part, and the developer said that's how he wanted it to be. I mean, in a way, yes, that is Shenmue, because Shenmue wasn't particularly great on facial animation or anything like that.
Right.
And if you had a drinking game based around the amount of times that Ryu says "I see," you'd go into some kind of alcohol-induced coma within half an hour. But yeah, I mean, I suppose in some cases, sticking with the, how the original game can work, like Sonic Mania, or in a game like this, which does use 3D graphics, and obviously Shenmue was quite an early 3D game, you can update it a bit.
Right,
and still keep that feeling.
I mean, how much money did they get? They got I'd have to look it up, but they got quite a bit of money.
Yeah, it was multi-millions. Yeah,
they got multi-millions, and then they got money from Sony, I believe.
Yes,
they have a publisher right now, from what I understand, and they're getting more money from that.
Yep, Deep Silver, I think. Either Deep Silver or it must be Deep Silver. I think they're with. I completely missed all of this because obviously I was away, but I have read up, and I know that Yu Suzuki spoke to GameSpark, which I'm just reading the translation of on Gama Sutra, Gamatsu, saying that the kind of dead-eyed models that were shown off in the trailer are just temporary and were placeholder. But so am I to believe that there were some issues wherein people were that repulsed that they, I don't know, defenestrated themselves, or what happened?
Well, I mean, if you just talk about the general aesthetics of the trailer, it does look like a Dreamcast game. I mean, what the heck's that all about?
Did they just wheel out an old trailer before the Dreamcast got shelved?
Right. Yeah. It was very, to me, it came off very weird. But I mean, I'm also kind of happy for them because they did stick to their guns, and that's cool, because it does honestly look like a Shenmue game. But at the same time, it does make me wonder what could have been had they, gone to make something more modern and more awesome looking, especially with all the money they got. I mean, where's the money going if you're just making a Dreamcast game?
There is a big issue in the fact that at the time Shenmue was ultra realistic. When that came out, that was super realistic, unprecedented, hadn't been seen before, even completely ignoring the fact of the whole mechanic setup and how you play the game and what it is, a kind of virtual fighter game meets a free roaming blah blah blah. Even ignoring all of that, the game was amazing on the visuals.
But also, wasn't it at the time it was the most expensive game ever made?
It was indeed, yeah. But the visuals were definitely a part of the selling point for many people. So for them to say that actually those groundbreaking visuals that we definitely developed as groundbreaking visuals were just an art style, and we're sticking with the art style, that does seem a bit odd if that's the case.
But again, worked for Sonic.
Well, I mean, if you look at games like Yakuza 0, that game looked fantastic. What I don't know.
No, that's a completely valid point, because when I was told that Shenmue had in fact been, shot, thrown off a building, buried under ice, dug up again, shot, killed, and was never coming back, I did start turning to the Yakuza series for my kind of like lifestyle and beating people up games. And while it was never as epic or sweeping as the Shenmue series, it did fill the hole. And Yakuza games have always continued to improve on their visuals and look good. And that's kind of what I expected of Shenmue. I really kind of thought that when Shenmue came back, it would be absolutely mind-blowing visually. They'd still be going for ultra-realistic. We'd be looking at the kind of big step that Crisis 3 had for visuals.
Yeah, but the thing is that obviously Yakuza had a fairly stable release schedule. Every couple of years, a new Yakuza game came out. It's now transgressed 3 or 4 consoles, generations, and that's happened. This is riding on nostalgia all the way to the bank. And I think that's the point.
Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point. And maybe I'm being a worrywart, but I am worried because I'm looking at this and wondering, okay, where's all the money going, though? That's what my worry is. And I'm just seeing a, what was that, Mighty Number 9 possibly forming right here.
Well, I mean, you look at the trailer, yeah, the characters are a bit janky. And obviously the voice acting is a bit janky, but again, that's the Shenmue thing. But you look at the backgrounds, they look pretty damn good. The environments look very, very good.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can only judge the game so far. It's just a trailer. But like I said, I'm probably just being a worry where I'm just a little teeny tiny bit worried about the game. But yeah, ultimately the game will, be the final decision, the final verdict on all this.
I mean, I'm slightly worried about it as well, because when this got released, and I'm not ashamed to say this, but when they announced this, I cried. And it was purely because of the reason that my dad didn't really like video games, but he spent hours playing around in the forklift truck in the first game. For some reason, that got him, and he loved just messing around in that forklift truck doing that minigame. And for that reason, and obviously my dad's no longer with us anymore, so when I saw it was coming back, I kind of got a bit emotional. So I'm really hoping it's going to be good. But it's almost the same as the thing as, if Half-Life 3 were ever to come out, is it going to be as any good as people want it to be?
Very true. Very true.
I do have a kind of final thing to say, which is probably that it's probably worth considering that because they've effectively got almost got 2 publishers, that's ignoring the probably thousands of technically publishers that they've got through the Kickstarter. They with publishers, they tend to set out milestone based layouts, and with the Kickstarter as well, that kind of happens when you kind of slightly promise that people are going to see things at certain times. So the team behind Shenmue 3 have, well, put simply, a trailer is long overdue. And so they probably just thought, let's just get one out there. That'll keep everyone happy for a minute, and we can get on with developing this,
I mean, there's also the point that if there's something off about it, it's going to make people talk about it a lot more. It's the whole, all news is, no, what is it? I can't remember. I don't even know what I'm talking about. But there's no such thing as bad press.
Yeah.
So if something gets people talking about it, it's all good.
The only thing worse than being talked about, it's not being talked about.
Exactly.
I mean, you got us talking about it, so there you go.
It worked. Well done, you. Well done. But anyway, right. Let's move on. Move on from this.